advised, we have a visual on enemy paratroopers at grid Papa uniform 259er, 119er. I don't know, we're onto them. Break.
Name. Mother chode.
Has he confessed yet?
Except his name, I could not get anything out of the runt.
Well, what the hell have you been doing all night?
He's a tough guy.
He won't talk, huh? Maybe a little electricity will loosen his tongue. Give him.
Yes, sir.
In the audience.
I'm done, sir.
So, tell me, Chaiwala, how did you know the answer? How did you know that the CS2 was the best gun ever made?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in today on the only show where you can win more paintballs than anyone has ever dreamed about. Today, we have on our show the ultimate rental, a chaiwala from Mississauga, Ontario, trying to make his paintball dreams come true. This is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Hello everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Regis Rental. Are you guys ready to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? So tell me, Mr. Ultimate, how do you feel right now sitting in the hot seat? Well, to be honest, I'm a little sore from that fat guy electrocuting me in the back. Thanks for that, by the way. Okay, the questions will increase in difficulty and in value from 10,000 paintballs all the way up to 1 million paintballs! You can walk away with what you've earned, or if you decide to keep going and answer incorrectly, you walk away with nothing. You have 3 lifelines: phone a friend, ask the audience, or 50-50. Okay, are you ready? Let's play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, Ultimate Rental, first question for 10,000 paintballs. Planet Eclipse has recently released the GEO IV into its spool valve lineup. Which other Planet Eclipse high-end spool valve is this competing with? Is it the ETHA 2, the LV 1.6, the EMEC, or the GEO CS2? Guys, at the time I am making this video, the Planet Eclipse CS2 has already been out for almost 3 years, so I'm not going to bore you with the same old generic review. If you are looking to buy the CS2 at this point, you already know a lot about it, and if not, there's a ton of reviews online. But you might be debating on whether to get the CS2 or to go with Planet Eclipse's newest, incredible addition to their spool collection, the GEO IV. In this video, I hope to do a quick overview of the CS2 in comparison to Planet Eclipse's latest offering, the GEO IV. First off, no review is complete without a quick what's in the box, so let's get that out of the way quickly. The CS2 comes with everything Planet Eclipse typically gives you, which is a lot. You get the hard case to protect your marker. Inside the case you get a set of Planet Eclipse Allen keys, a healthy set of replacement parts, including everything you need to rebuild the marker a bunch of times over. A tube of Planet Eclipse grease, which is just repackaged out 33 that you can buy for much cheaper. I go through a lot of lube. Well, actually that didn't sound good. Reminder to self, edit that out. 2 barrel backs, a .681 which matches the body color of the gun, and a .689 which matches the gun's accent color. A heavy duty barrel cover. You are getting a carbon fiber barrel from Deadly Wind, which is known for making some of the best carbon fiber barrels in the game. They are extremely durable and light. Unlike the CS2 Pro, which is coming with that aluminum tip that is also coming with the GEO IV. That aluminum tip was meant to increase accuracy for perfect laning, as the heavier barrel reduces kick and barrel rise. The CS2 Pro version, however, comes with 3 barrel backs, a .681, a .685, and a .689, though it's $50 more. And the GEO IV is coming with only 1 barrel back, a .689. In my opinion though, the CS2 Pro is a downgrade from the original CS2. You give up a super light Deadly Wind barrel and that very cool milling in exchange for an aluminum tip and an extra barrel back and an extra trigger. I just bought a .685 with the $50 I saved, and I'm happy with the blade trigger. So the CS2 Pro, in my opinion, was Planet Eclipse saying, we can't make a better gun than the CS2, so we'll mess around with the trigger and barrel so we have something to sell you this year. And I feel like the GEO IV is the same thing. But I digress. You also get a Planet Eclipse full color manual. It's the fine details that matter. And the beautiful CS2, milled to absolute perfection. Each gun is anodized individually so everything is a perfect match. Oh wait, I actually needed that. The serial number is milled into the body. Like seriously, that's impressive. It's so much easier and cheaper for them just to laser print the serial number on, but it wouldn't look as beautiful as this. Again, it's the small things that make you appreciate Planet Eclipse's products. Since Planet Eclipse released the GEO IV, there's been a lot of debate over which is the better marker. A major complaint of the CS1 was that it had a very chunky grip. They corrected this problem first by decreasing the width of the grips on the CS2, making them extremely thin. I've found that this narrow profile helps a lot with pointing the gun and aiming. Second, they changed the angle of the grip frame, making the gun feel longer. This also makes it feel easy to tuck in and shoot. The shape of the gun and those premium rubber grips feel so good. If I were to describe it, it's like a grip-shaped squishy ball that you've squeezed all the way. You just want to grip it tight. I love the ergonomic design. The grips are toolless and very easy to remove. Simply pull back the tab on each side and they can be taken off. There's nothing that you really need to get to very often under there, but it makes cleaning paint out of the grips and the tiny crevices between the frame very much easier. The batteries can be removed toollessly and very easily. The gun takes 2 AA batteries. There's no wire to stick into your marker awkwardly near a power outlet. And if your battery runs out and you can find an outlet at the field, you'll have to stand beside it while it charges or set it down where it'll get all scratched up. For those of you who complain that it doesn't take rechargeable batteries, I have this to say. You can buy rechargeable Energizer and Duracell batteries. Problem solved, you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The trick is, small birds, big stone. It also comes with toolless eyes. Are you starting to see a pattern? If you watch my videos, you know I hate to use jargon because that alienates the newer players that may be watching. So if I'm going to use a term, I'll make sure to let you know what it is first. When people talk about eyes in their paintball gun, all that means is a device that sees whether there's a ball in the chamber of the gun. Electronic guns that have eyes do not fire when there's no ball in the breech unless you turn the eyes off. The CS2 came out with the innovative reflective eye, or as they call it, the light pipe system, which is really ingenious. Rather than have eyes directly connected to the board, the eyes act like a mirror and reflect an infrared beam to the sensor. This just makes it incredibly easy to clean the breech of your eyes quickly if you get shot in the gun. The detents are located just under the eye covers. They also give you a spare detent which is conveniently located in case you need to change detents quickly, in case one gets dirty or one falls out. The GEO IV, however, has maintained the standard eye system where there are wires connected to the board. Well, the wires run down to the board so you can still take them out without an issue. I just personally prefer the light pipe system, it's just a much cleaner design. And toolless bolt removal. Stick around, we'll get into the bolt a little bit later. The Gamma Core Pro comes with a standard soft tip bolt. They also give you a hard tip bolt. The soft tip bolt is easier on paint, whereas the hard tip bolt is harder on paint, but is more air efficient. It is coming with that push on off purge system, or POPS ASA, which I've honestly never heard anyone complain about. And what's there to complain about? You push a button, the air is off. You push a tab, the air is on. It's just simple. The gun is very light, weighing only 1 pound 11 ounces. All ones. The tip weighs a feather light 1.6 ounces. And the barrel back only 2.2 ounces. For a total barrel weight of only 3.7 ounces. Since these guns are so similar ergonomically, at the heart of the controversy are the drivetrains in each marker. The CS2 using the Gamma Core Pro, which is a modified version of the original Gamma Core, and the GEO IV using the highly acclaimed IV core. In this video I argue that the Gamma Core Pro is the superior drivetrain, and Planet Eclipse knows that very well. And hopefully, if I can't convince you of it, maybe this video will give you some information to help you make a more informed choice. Remember guys, this is just my opinion. In the end, all that matters is what's worth your hard-earned money. I love the IV core, but when someone says that it's way better than the Gamma Core, I always ask, what criteria are you using to make that decision? If it's your preference, then I agree with you. But if you want to get scientific about it, which I kinda do, then let's look at the specs and see which is really the superior bolt system. I am comparing the drivetrains in 4 categories: reliability, efficiency, operating pressure, and design. Regis, I'm gonna say CS2 final answer. And CS2 is correct with 10,000 paintballs! So tell me, Ultimate, are you nervous? Well, yes, of course, I wasn't expecting such a large audience. Well, then you'll be shocked to know that this is broadcast on YouTube, where it will be watched by almost 12 people. Are you familiar with YouTube? Yeah, Regis, actually I have a YouTube channel myself. I have 4 subscribers. Hi Mom, thanks for subscribing. Okay, second question coming up. For 50,000 paintballs, which of the following paintball markers is not powered by the Gamma Core? Is it the ETHA 2, the GTEC 170R, the MG100, or the GEO 3.5? When the GSL first came out with the IV core, it was revolutionary. It used a reactive prop shaft which senses breach pressure and closes the valve. This in turn produced a massive efficiency gain. The GEO 3.5, like its predecessor the GEO 3, used a solenoid flow restrictor, or SFR, to control the rate at which the solenoid vents. Planet Eclipse next introduced the CS1, which continued to use the IV core with some modifications.
Very similar to how we rebranded the Ego line with the LV, the CS was almost a rebranding of the Geo. The CS1 had so many changes on it, it almost didn't warrant the Geo name. It was so different, and there were so many differences to how it all went together and the features that are on it, that we thought, right, this is a good time to, instead of having a GEO IV, we'll go to something different, and that became the CS1.
They increased the volume of the valve chamber in the CS1, but more importantly, much like they did recently with the LV 1.6, they started using an in-house design for the solenoid so that it was user serviceable. The Macveld solenoids they were using were extremely well designed and very fast reacting, but Planet Eclipse's customers were complaining that they had to replace the solenoid completely if it went down, and they are very expensive to replace. The in-house design that Planet Eclipse made had a slower solenoid actuation. Combined with the lower pressure because they increased the volume of the valve chamber, this slowed down the bolt significantly. This gave it a soft and lazy shot feel which some people love, but it also caused some instances of bolt stick and inconsistency. Along with the less reactive solenoid, a major complaint of the CS1 was the ergonomic design. People just complained that it was chunky. And while it had a very sweet sounding shot, the size of it was a deal breaker for most. When the CS2 came out, initially it was highly touted as the best Planet Eclipse marker ever made. However, over a short period of time, the general sentiment changed. People resented the fact that Planet Eclipse's flagship marker, the CS2, was basically the same bolt as their bottom of the line gun, the EMAC. And especially since Eclipse came out with the GTEC 170R shortly thereafter, the line between high-end and mid-range was blurred. How many times have you heard, "Bruh, you spent too much on your CS2, bruh. Why didn't you just buy a 170R, bruh?"
So the CS2 actually started off several years ago as a big revision of the CS 1.5. During the development of the CS2, we introduced the Gamma Core, and it became clear through testing it ourselves internally that that platform has a lot of advantages that our pro players would appreciate, customers that want our best performing and highest end product would appreciate.
I shot the gun instantly. I called Jacko and said, this should not be called the CS2 because this is not the CS. The CS2 to me, it feels different, it shoots different, it sounds different. It is the next level on gun.
The Gamma Core was something completely different. It had its roots in a very different place, and it was a completely from ground up design. It didn't take any parts from anywhere else. Every single component in it is completely different to an Ivy Core. And at the point I turned around to Julian Leds and went, actually this is again a different gun now, and it's like, it's a bit late to change the name at this point.
You know, I told Jack this today, that shooting the CS2 is for me like going back to that original Ego. Like, there is a game changer here.
It's really not the same. The GP core is a more refined version of the Gamma Core, so tell Bra to keep watching for an explanation on that later. Nevertheless, customers demanded that PE modernize the GEO 3.5 platform with the IV core, and in Planet Eclipse fashion, they listened to their customers with the GEO IV. You heard it from the engineer himself. The CS2 is the next level in design. Regis, I'm gonna say D. The GEO 3.5 is not powered by the Gamma Core. Well, unfortunately, you got cocky. But you have every right to be because...
That is correct! Very good, Tyler. Next question. Which is the most reliable bolt system in paintball? Is it A, the IV core, B, the Encore bolt, C, the Gamma Core, or D, the Arc bolt? Well, Regis, I know it's definitely not the Encore bolt. The Arc bolt is incredibly close to the technological prowess of the Gamma Core. I think I know the answer, but I'm gonna use the 50-50. Okay, 50-50, please randomly take away 2 wrong answers. Okay, it's down to the Gamma Core and the IV core. Which is the most reliable?
Let's quickly get into some basic maintenance for your gun so you can keep it running smoothly. You simply unscrew the can and pop out the bolt. Clean the inside of the can, make sure you get the O-ring on the inside of it. Just wipe down your entire bolt, make sure it's clean. You want to do the same with the bolt guide, just make sure it's clean, take off any dirt or debris or extra grease. And that's it, your bolt system is clean. Next, take a little bit of lube and just rub it around the O-rings on the bolt guide. Make sure you get all of them. Okay, and now you want to do the can as well. Make sure to get that O-ring again on the inside of the can. That's an important one. And then you also want to do on the inside of the can as well. That's where the bolt will move around, so you want to make that nice and slick. And the bolt O-rings as well, of course, and just a little bit of grease on the bolt itself, just to get it to slide faster. And that's it. Put the can back on. Put a little bit of lube on the outside O-rings just so that it slides into the gun. This should be done around every 5,000 to 7,000 shots, but I generally clean my gun after every game and then lube it before every game. But I know you're wondering, how does it shoot? Well,
Okay, time's up. I need your answer. Okay, I had a feeling. Obviously, it was going to be Planet Eclipse. I'm going to say C, Gamma Core. Is that your final answer? Yes, Gamma Core, final answer. And that is correct for 100,000 Paintball! Congratulations, you're doing suspiciously well for a chaiwala. You can walk away now with 100,000 paintballs, or you can keep going for a chance to win 1 million paintballs. Ultimate rental, what will it be? Well, that's more paintballs than I've ever seen in my life. But I feel like this is written. I'm gonna keep going. Okay, next question for 250,000 paintballs. Which paintball gun is the most air efficient? Is it A, the Planet Eclipse CS2, B, the GEO IV, C, the Empire Axe, or D, the MacDev Prime? What can a chaiwala like you know about a $1,500 paintball gun? Huh? And tell me, how did you know that the CS2 was more reliable than the GEO IV?
The main benefit of the Gamma Core is reliability. As with any category here, we are really splitting hairs. Both of these systems are incredible. They are both going to be incredibly reliable and backed by Planet Eclipse's warranty and customer service, which is great. For Planet Eclipse, reliability is always their #1 priority. If the gun doesn't work every time, they don't want to sell it. But which of the two cores is more reliable? The IV core solenoid acts as an air sear and presses on the bolt at rest. When the trigger is pressed, the air is released from the air sear. The solenoid vents air, and the SFR controls the rate at which it vents, pushing the bolt forward at a controlled rate. That air pressure then vents out of the frame, and this is what gives the IV core that signature swoosh sound that everybody loves. But though it sounds so nice, the disadvantage of constantly restricting airflow to slow down the bolt means extra pressure on the O-rings in the bolt system. Compare it to being in stop-and-go traffic and constantly having to slam on the brakes. Eventually those brakes are gonna wear out. Whereas the Gamma Core has a self-time bolt system. It does not use an SFR to restrict the airflow, so all 105 psi push the bolt forward and the bolt guide is closed, allowing the bolt to return to its ready position before the dwell time expires. This gives the shot a poppet style effect, though it's a spool valve. This also means that the force of the bolt would be like the force of the LV1, and there's no issues with bolt stick like on the CS1. This also causes the CS2 to make a more popping bang noise with each shot. That's because the actuation of the bolt is like a 105 psi bomb just went off. And this sound is what's turned off a lot of players from the CS2, as many players like to have that soft marshmallowy popping sound out of their barrel. So Planet Eclipse was hearing the complaints from their customers and introduced the GEO IV. It has an upgraded ergonomic design and the same IV core that everyone loves, but with a soft tip bolt for better paint handling. In comparing these drivetrains, both are going to be very reliable. However, the point goes to the GP core, as the self-timed dummy-proof core does not use an SFR. As a matter of fact, the Gamma Core in my opinion is the most reliable drivetrain on the market in 2020. If you want a market that will last the next 20 years no problem, get a CS2. And that's why this round goes to the Gamma Core. I argue that the Gamma Core Pro is the best drivetrain ever made. It took all of the best qualities from the IV core and eliminated all of the disadvantages. The components in the GP core bolt system are decoupled, and the bolt system is self-timed, which means that the bolt can return ready for the next ball before the valve closes. This creates some big advantages for rate of fire and paint handling. And at a super impressively low operating pressure of 105 psi, combined with a 3-stage bolt acceleration, revised flow paths, and a 3rd generation soft tip bolt, this gun is guaranteed to handle even the most brittle paint flawlessly. Not that the IV core isn't incredibly easy on paint with the SFR controlling the rate at which the bolt is fired, and especially now with the soft tip bolt coming standard with the GEO IV. The IV core has an operating pressure of 135 psi, and it's just another testament of Planet Eclipse's obsession with paint handling. In terms of operating pressure and paint handling, this one really is a tie due to how well these two cores handle paint. But the GP core takes this round because it has lower operating pressure than the IV core, so point for GP.
I'm gonna say Planet Eclipse CS2. Final answer. For 250,000 paintballs, you said the CS2 was the most air efficient. And that is correct! Okay, Chaiwala, you've won 250,000 paintballs so far. You're on the streak of your life. Are you ready for the next question? I'm ready, Regis. Ultimate rental for 500,000 paintballs. Here is your next question. Which of these paintball markers has the lowest operating pressure? Is it the Dye M3S, the DLX Lux X, the Planet Eclipse GEO IV, or the Planet Eclipse CS2? Would you like to phone a friend? Well, I would, but the problem is I don't have any friends. Well, that's just sad. Oh, you know what? I'll call Marky. He doesn't like me very much, but maybe he can help me. Okay, let's try Marky. Just a second. Ahoy, hoy. Marky, I need your help. I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Quick, which gun has the lowest operating pressure? Is it the M3S, the Lux X, the GEO IV, or the CS2?
Who is this?
Come on, man, I need your help. Is it M3S, X, CS2, or GEO IV?
Well, obviously that's the CS2, that's no brainer.
Is that your final answer? Are you sure?
No, really, who is this?
Time's up. I need your answer. Regis, I'm gonna say CS2. Final answer. Ultimate rental, you're gonna take your friend's advice and say the CS2. Final answer for 500,000 paintballs. That is correct, China!
It's no secret that the GP core is also more efficient than the IV core, but Planet Eclipse makes some of the most efficient guns on the market, so it's really not an issue either way. But again, I want to do the math, so let's just do this for objectivity.
This is the Planet Eclipse CS2. It almost shot 11 full pods off of a 68 4500 tank. If you guys had a 77 or a 90, Lord, this gun would shoot 13 pods. I mean,
so honestly, that's the full hopper. That's 11 pods right there, and a total of 1,471 so far. So that's pretty good for a 68-45. Not even filled all the way up to 45, probably around 42, 43. I think that's great efficiency. So here it is, efficiency test.
All right, guys, this gun shot about 10.5 pods, which is honestly amazing. This was a full 68 4500 Ninja tank. 10.5 pods out of the CS 1.5. Amazing in my opinion.
9 pods and a hopper, which is awesome for a little gun like this. A little gun, shouldn't probably call it a little gun. But the GEO IV efficiency test, 9 pods and a hopper, what did I say, 1460, somewhere around in there?
This round goes to the GP core. Big surprise.
Consider this. Planet Eclipse is very careful on how they price their guns. Oddly, their guns, unlike most companies, are based on the true value of production and design at the time they're introduced. The CS2 is priced at $1,500. The CS2 Pro, which is still available, is at $1,550. The GEO IV, which is their newest bridge to high-end marker, is priced at $1,195. There's a good reason why Planet Eclipse is valuing the GEO IV at $300 less than the CS2. Both of these drivetrains and guns are absolutely amazing though, and I would carry either one to the field any day. What it comes down to though, over the short term, is how it feels in your hand and how much you love that swoosh sound of the IV core. Look, I'm not saying that the IV core is a bad bolt system by any means. I'm simply arguing that the Gamma Core is a superior bolt system in terms of reliability, design, operating pressure, and efficiency. But there's one category that's more important than all of these categories combined, and that is preference. gentlemen, welcome back. I am here with the Ultimate Rental, and he is going for 1 million paintballs. He decided to go on and walked away from a guaranteed 500,000 paintballs. Have you ever heard the expression that sometimes less is more? Well, Regis, if less is more, imagine how much more would be. Okay, Ultimate Rental, this is it. For 1 million paintballs, here's your final question. What is the best paintball gun ever made? Is it the Dye DSR, the Lux X, the GEO IV, or the CS2? D, CS2, final answer. You don't want to take some time to think about it? How can you be so sure? Because Regis, sometimes it's written. Ultimate Rental for 1 million paintballs. You answered the best paintball gun ever made is D, the Planet Eclipse CS2. And you are correct! You did what no one else could do. You've won 1 million paintballs. Congratulations! Thank you so much,
आजा जिंद शामी आने के तले आजा जरी वाले नीले आसमाने के तले